the greatest citizens movement in California history. Anyone signed the recall by chance? Has anyone gathered signatures? Circulated? Wow, that is amazing. I mean, that is what it's all about. You are truly making history one signature at a time. So thank you for your heroic efforts. And I want to thank one more person. He's actually a constituent of mine, if you can believe that. He lives in my district. It's the guy on the cover of this book. I don't think he voted for me in my last election. But I want to thank Gavin Newsom. And you might say, well, wait a minute, he's ruining a lot of our lives. He's ruining our state. He's taken what was a long-term decline of California and brought it into this total free fall. So why are we thanking him? I do think we have one thing to thank him for, and that's he's made it so clear for the world to see exactly what is wrong with California. You know, he has put blaring neon lights over the state capitol that say this is the problem. He's taken everything that's wrong with our state government and put it on steroids in directing the single worst response to COVID-19 in the United States, if not the larger Western world.
That's right.
I think it was Jerry Brown's own press secretary who put it best. He said, when history called, Newsom flopped. But it's worse than that. It's not just a failure of leadership. You know, this recall might not have become the most powerful, most diverse citizens movement in California history if it were merely a failure of leadership. What it is an abuse of the public trust. An abuse of the public trust unlike anything we have ever seen. This governor has taken extraordinary emergency powers and abused them for personal political gain. He's taken all of our shared sacrifice, so much sacrifice, and he's cashed it in for his own self-promotion. And so that's one of 8 adjectives I use to describe Gavin Newsom's worst in the nation COVID-19 response. Self-promotional. You could probably think of some other adjectives that might be coming to mind, I'm sure. But that's number 1. Each of those is its own chapter in this book I've written. Self-promotional. Does anyone here doubt that Gavin Newsom used the arrival of the coronavirus on our shores to launch his presidential campaign?
Yeah.
I mean, remember back in March, it seems like a lifetime ago, but his press conferences were must-see TV, or at least he thought they were. He'd advertise them breathlessly in all caps on social media. Tune in, coronavirus briefing today at noon. He would have these teasers in his media advisories, major announcement coming up, and then it would be something like, you know, a new stay-at-home order. He hit the daytime talk show circuit. He was on Ellen. He was on The View. He hit the late-night talk show circuit. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was on The Daily Show. He was on Seth Meyers. He told Seth Meyers, quote, "I'm trying to save 40 million Californians." He was trying to build sizzle, as one veteran political consultant put it. But there was one thing that was bothering Gavin. Even as he reveled in all of this newfound attention, there was something rankling him, because another governor across the country was getting a lot more of it. I mean, Andrew Cuomo's press conferences got carried live on CNN. He just won an Emmy for them. You can believe that. Now, Cuomo's in a little bit of hot water himself, if you've been following the news. I don't know if he'd be the first Emmy winner convicted of a felony. But nowadays, Cuomo and Newsom seem to be competing over who can be removed from office first. But back when this all started, Newsom was desperately trying to compete with Cuomo for attention to try to get a little slice of the national spotlight. And so he came up with these desperate gambits, making these big splashy announcements that went nowhere or that were completely fabricated. The paper in the area I represent, the Sacramento Bee, they had endorsed Newsom, but they gave him a nickname, Governor Gaslight. And this culminated with Gavin Newsom going behind the back of the legislature to reach a $1 billion mask deal with one of the world's shadiest companies, BYD China, which is run by the Chinese Communist Party, which has ties to forced labor, which has a history of defective products. But Gavin Newsom gave them a secret no-bid contract which he gave half the money for, $500 million up front, just so that he can then go on the Rachel Maddow show in prime time and declare California not merely to be one of the 50 states, but a nation state. Surely Cuomo couldn't compete with that, right? Wow. But the next morning, it actually seemed to be working. You could almost hear the sound of champagne corks popping in the governor's office as hashtag President Newsom had started trending on Twitter. I can assure you of this, we will never again see President Newsom trending on Twitter. Thanks to all of your hard work, we're much more likely to see hashtag former Governor Newsom by the end of the year. The second defining feature of Newsom's worst in the nation COVID-19 response is lawless. On April 1st, Gavin Newsom celebrated the coronavirus as an opportunity for, quote, a new progressive era, an opportunity to, quote, reshape the way we do business and how we govern. That's how he was thinking about this virus 3 weeks in to the state of emergency. And what that meant in the ensuing months was taking our cherished American institutions, the rule of law, separation of powers, checks and balances, representative democracy, the Constitution itself, and putting them through a paper shredder. He literally fashioned himself in the mold of an ancient Roman dictator, saying several times that the state of emergency, no matter how long it lasts, quote, centralizes the state's powers in his hands. He changed over 400 laws by fiat, remaking life in California one pen stroke at a time. It is something that our system of government has never contemplated. It is something that the California Constitution does not allow. Our laws do not allow for an autocracy or a dictatorship under any circumstances, which is why we took him to court and which is why we won. The third adjective is corrupt, and this one has pride of place on the cover. America's most corrupt governor. We just got fresh evidence of this 2 days ago. Capitol Public Radio had a bombshell report showing all of the no-bid contracts, not just the one with BYD China, that the governor used emergency powers to award to his top campaign donors. But the example I begin this with is a commission that everyone's probably forgotten existed, and that's the California Economic Recovery Commission. Do you remember this? In April, he announced this big 80-member commission with luminaries like Janet Yellen, who's now Biden's Treasury Secretary, or Bob Iger with Disney, who eventually resigned. Anyone remember this? It was disbanded in December, the Economic Recovery Commission was, because mission accomplished, the economy is doing great. Does anyone remember who he put in charge of that commission? Tom Steyer. The vanity presidential candidate and billionaire who was the single largest contributor to Democratic political candidates in United States history, giving over $250 million to Democrat candidates. And that is what defines Gavin Newsom more than anything else, is he is willing to sell his power to the highest bidder. And when he claims his powers are absolute, that's a major problem, which is why I begin the book with the famous quote, "Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely." And we've seen that nowhere more than with his closures of our schools, where he has done incalculable harm to millions of California kids just to please his top campaign donor, the California Teachers Association. If that doesn't make you America's most corrupt governor, I'm not sure what does. The fourth adjective is unscientific. Does anyone follow Gavin Newsom on Twitter? No. Judge Bailey, I know you do. You follow him on Twitter? Yes. I see you retweeting him all the time. Come on. If you really want to get to know Gavin Newsom, well, maybe you don't, but follow him on Twitter. See his tweets. Here are a few Gavin Newsom tweets.
What's going on, Patriots? We're back at it at the channel at Be Like Water Media. This is your boy Ryan. And we have new merch in the store. It's at Be Like Water Teesprings store. We have "No bourgeois, no democracy." This is a famous political quote by Barrington Moore Jr. "No bourgeois, no democracy," stating how the importance of the middle class is to society and how it stabilizes the democracy. But unfortunately, right now, the middle class is getting destroyed by corporations and our own democracy. People just forget how important the middle class is, and I just wanted to show this by this new merch line. As you know, there's a lot of protesting around America right now, and I just wanted to give you something to rock when you're out there protesting, holding the line, showing the big government, we're not going to be pushed around. We need the middle class. We need to fight for our rights because, we have the power to change when the laws do not favor us. But also we have face masks here. I know you guys aren't into face masks, but we have a cute face mask. But check out the store. We got sweaters, t-shirts, men and women, no bourgeois. But it's really dope. Check out the store. Be Like Water Media here. And once again, thank you so much for the support. Subscribe, all the videos. I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.